Hi, we're doing another tier list. There is no intro for this video, that's it. We're doing several because I'm in the mood to do so, and I wanted to play some games, but I had this idea, and I was like, I'm going to do it. And this is the second time I'm attempting to record this, and hopefully this time I will not be interrupted by dog, who I let out and back in multiple times, and then decided wanted to sit and scratch at the door to go back out, even though it's 100+ degrees outside, so she's actually psychotic. But I digress. So we're doing something that I have strong opinions on, and I've been wanting to do for a while, and I've had notes on for a while, and I've just been wanting to do in general, which is tier listing stuff related to Paper Mario. We're gonna just do a bunch until I feel like I'm done, and we'll go from there. We're starting with just tier listing the games in general. Oh, okay, God, these ads are obnoxious. Someone made this template already. I don't really need all these, so we're just gonna get rid of all these. I know what some people's opinions are. There's currently 6 games. One, two, three. I'm gonna go ahead and say we'll do a tier for each. That's not the color I want you to be. Okay, well that happened. What is uh here? Cool. Sure. I'm not going to make witty titles for the tiers. I'm just going to do what they are. S, A, B, C, D, E, sure. So, a lot of people, excuse me for a moment, let me adjust my headphones. And having hair pulled out via mechanisms is not fun, anyone who has long hair. Um, there's going to be a lot of people who have strong opinions one way or another. I'm going to go off of my personal opinions and I'll talk a little bit about why I put each one where I do and go into that in detail. And more of that, I'll go into some other tiers and talk about them then. But I'm just going to talk about the individual games, why I put them where I do, what I like about each, what I dislike about each, etc. So I guess I'll just go in order of the way that they're set up currently. Or no, I could do chronological. We could start. Let's do chronological. Let's come on. No, that's not. Come on, please. There we go. So we're going to start with Paper Mario, the first one, the N64 game. My bread and butter. I am kind of biased because I grew up with this game. I played it first when I was 5, and I adore this game. For those of you who personally know me, and for those of you who've caught my Paper Mario randomizer streams and videos, I love this game. It's one of my favorite of all time. It's only beaten out by Pikmin 2, and I will be doing Pikmin 2 tier content also. Um, what is that? Oh, Arceus. I was like, that looks like Pokemon. Um, so Paper Mario 64 goes into S for me. And I know there's a lot of people who are going to be disgruntled about that. I keep miscounting these, I don't know why. But I personally like 64 the most. I do like T2ID a lot, and there's a lot of QOL changes that T2ID does that are better than 64, but I just love 64. It's my personal favorite. I love the bosses more. I love the music more. I love the partners more, even though the partners can technically do less than they can in the second game. Um, I like the feel of the game, the way it makes me feel when I play it, the locations, just the whole atmosphere. It's just, it's a game I know I can go to anytime, anywhere, and it will always make me feel good. Whether I'm playing Chapter 1, Chapter 8, anything in between, does not matter. Whether I'm doing a challenge run or just a normal run or anything. It is always a game that will make me happy, that I will have fun playing, and I can literally pick up at any point in the game and just be like, I'm going to play for like hours. And it's just a lot of fun. So I love it to death. I love it to pieces. Um, I can't only give it positive criticism. I've got to give it some. some normal criticism. Well, positive feedback. I got to give it some positive criticism or constructive criticism. Thank you. Um, the fact that partners can't use items is definitely something that T2ID did better. Um, the partners in 64 don't have a lot of dialogue. They don't interact with Mario a whole lot, whereas they do a little bit more in T2ID. They pretty much get their initial like, "Hey, it's the first time you're meeting me," and they talk, and then some of them have scripted dialogue later on, like when Sushi's saying, "Oh, what are you talking about? I'm not going to go into the volcano," and then she's like, "Well, actually, you're saving, your love interest. Yeah, that's really righteous. I'll help out." And Spike has a lot of dialogue when you first meet him, but afterwards, after their times that they're scripted to talk, they just kind of like they're with you, but they don't really do much. You attack with them. You can use skills that they have. If you've got the group focus badge, it lets them focus, which is cool. Other than that, that's kind of it. Um, Also, statuses in Paper Mario 64 are totally optional. You never ever need to use Dizzy Shell. You never need to use um, stuff like Airlift or Hurricane or Screech or is it Spook. I'm getting it mixed up with the Dark Star Edition adjustment. Um, Power Shock slash Mega Shock is not bad because paralysis is good. Um, Plus Mega Shock hits everyone, and it's not bad for FP, whereas Dizzy Shell is a pretty good chunk of FP and it only hits ground based enemies. Um, so there's that sort of stuff. But it's not it's not bad. Like if you want to use statuses, you still can, absolutely. But you don't really need to. There's a lot more application for statuses in the second game. Um, but still totally viable. It's just like you can brute force your way through the game. It's not a hard game. If you're going Mega Rush, Peril strats, you will clear out every boss you run into. No sweat, no issue. It's not difficult. I tested it out on Crystal King the other day. Um, Mega Rush, Super Jump Charge, Power Bounce, and then weirdly enough, I used Watt to turbo boost Mario once, which was completely overkill and you can kill him in one turn. 70 plus damage in one turn. And that mitigates his three potential full heals he can do. It mitigates him duplicating. It's just absurd. You can do that with Huff and Puff also. He's a little bit more scripted, so you've got to be a little careful because you can die. Um, so it would not be a bad idea to have, a repel gel on you if you really want to go with the mega jump or the power bounce and super jump charge strategy. Or just hope that your luck is really good and use Cloud9 and Pretty Lucky. But all that being said, Paper Mario 64 is my favorite. Like, that should come as no surprise. It's a lovely game. Um, I want to put multiple in the same tier because I absolutely would put the next two up in S also, but I'm going to try to be particular here and try to do one for each category. And there she's at the door again. It's almost like I freaking called it. Bella, honey? Oh my God. How many times a day do you want to go in and out? It can't be comfortable. It's like 110. Oh my God. I'm not going to stop this recording and start over because I've been going for almost 10 minutes now. So pardon me while I get up for a second and let the dog back in. Okay, where were we? Moving on. Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door is going to go up to A. It is totally on par with 64 for me, but like I said, I'm going to try to do one for each tier, um, which sucks because I'm going to end up putting the other games lower than where I normally would. Um, but I might do a separate tier list, but then it'll end up being. Here, I'll give you a sneak peek. If I wanted to put them all where ideally I want them to go, this is how it would look. Yes, I would put Color Splash as high as B, because although it's not the Paper Mario game I want, like the first three, or even Origami King, because the Origami King's a lot closer, it's not a bad game. The writing's pretty good. I'm not going to get too into it because I'm going to get to that when I get to Color Splash specifically. But yes, this is how I would do it if I was doing multiple tiers, but or multiple per tier. Can I not take y'all out of here now? Well, can I reset? Is there a reset button? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's right. I gotta get rid of this again. Okay, let's do this for real now. Okay, T2ID, right up there. Also, my OCD is killing me. I would definitely put T2ID in second if we're doing one per um, tier. It is a fantastic game. Like I was talking about earlier, you have partners that have a bit more interaction than they did in the first game, more dialogue, more diverse. You've got Vivian, who's fantastic. You've got Madame Flurry. You've got a Yoshi kid. But then again, the first game had some really diverse characters too. We had Watt, who's a little Sparky. What a interesting character to make an important character. Sushi, who's a purple Cheep Cheep, which is very interesting. A Lakitu for lackluster, you know, pretty cool. And then you've got the typical Goomba, Koopa, Bomb, and Paratroopa. Oh, and then, Boo for Bo. But Bo's awesome. Love Bo. Um, and then T2ID, you've got your Goomba, your Koopa. Um, but then you get Wind Spirit, Wind Elemental, whatever you want to call her. Yoshi Kid. Um, I'm forgetting the order. Who comes after? Oh, Bobbery. Or no, sorry, Vivian. And then Bobbery. And then Mouse, if you decide to get her. I like Miss Mouse. I think she's cool. Not the most not the best partner in the game, but she's got her uses and she can hold her own for the most part. It's just hard when you've got Flurry and Bobbery as the two tanks and Yoshi as the put him in peril and kill everything. Even Goombella, ultra ranked in peril, is fantastic. But I digress. Fantastic game, fantastic soundtrack. It's right up there with the first game. Fantastic bosses that are right up there with the first game. Um, More lovely Bowser and Cammy dialogue because the two of them are fantastic, and I love Cammy to pieces. Grotus and Crump are fantastic villains. The Shadow Queen's really cool. The Shadow Sirens are neat. Dupless is cool. Uh, you got Grubba, you got Rockhawk. Cortez is awesome. The Smorg. Hooktail, who's hot, and her siblings. Uh, just really solid game. Brings back most of the badges. Most of the badges. I mean, you don't see stuff like Runaway Pay or Dodge Master come back, but you got most of the ones come back, and then some new ones. You've got partner specific badges. You got new stuff like FP Drain instead of just HP Drain. There was supposed to be FP Drain P, but that ended up being scrapped because it's kind of pointless because you share FP. Partners can use items, like I said. Uh, just a very, very interesting game, very fun, a lot of good time. I have not as fond memories of it, but I do have fond memories of it. But like if I compare it to Paper Mario 64, that's like my childhood. I was a little bit older when T2ID came out, and I played the crap out of it then. I remember first playing the Paper Mario 2 demo in a Target, a Super Target specifically, and it had that Paper Mario 2 logo with Mario, Goombella Coops, and Madame Flurry on the title screen. And I think you could play up to Hooktail's Castle in the demo. I forget how far you could go. I do not remember. It's been a long time, but I remember Petal Meadows specifically. But it was super cool. So it's a solid game. It definitely goes up there with Paper Mario 64. But like I said, for the purpose of this tier list, I'm doing one per row. So phenomenal game. I know a lot of people would swap these. A lot of people are like T2ID supremacy and power to them. But me personally, 64 comes first. All right, and since we're going on the track of one per tier, Super Paper Mario comes up to B because I love it to death, but I can't put it above these two because at the end of the day, I like these more. But this is a solid game. I remember it first came out on originally on the Wii, long time ago. It was the first game I got on the Wii besides Wii Sports, and I played the hell out of it when I got it. I remember finding out that it was coming out and was like, Mom, Dad, I have to have this. And we ended up getting it and played the hell out of it. It's so good. I grew up a bigger fan of platformers and action platformers than RPGs. As a kid, I did not like RPGs. I thought they were slow. I didn't like having to touch an enemy, wait to get into a battle, do the battle, be turn-based, and then get out and then go from there. So as a child, I was really terrible at RPGs because I skipped most of the enemies. So these first two games were really tough for me until I learned how to actually, level up. Oh, fight everything you see, and then the game becomes stupid easy. Had that same issue with Superstar Saga. Um, but this just scratched every itch I had. So for a while, I probably, as a child, would have put this one at the top above these two, but clearly that's not the case. But this game's incredible. It's got Peach, Bowser, and Luigi importance that they normally don't have. Peach isn't just damsel in distress, she's damsel who will put you in distress. You've got Bowser, who's big, beefy, does beefy, big damage, and is still just as funny, if not funnier, than the past two games. And he flails his arms in a really funny way, and I love him. And Luigi, who's comical and funny, but can be a badass when he wants to, like in the intro cinematic, while at the same time being like, "Oh, I don't give my name to scoundrels." Now watch as Luigi trounces you for your badness, and it's just like, "Okay, Luigi, you're doing your best, sweetheart. Love you. I love you for it." Not only is he funny, but he's well written, and he's imperative to the story. He's one of the most important characters to the story of Super Paper Mario. I'm not going to spoil it why, but most people probably know already. But oh my god, the final battle theme for Super Paper Mario, I feel like, is up there in the kind of overrated realm as like in the finale from Bowser's Inside Story. Not that there's anything wrong with either of those. I just mean overrated as in you're going to hear them a lot. Everyone is constantly rambling about how good in the finale is. And it's a fantastic piece. I love it. I've listened to it more times than I can count, just like the Ultimate Show. I personally prefer the Ultimate Show, but that's just me. But in the finale is fantastic too. Anyway, back to Super Paper Mario. It's a platformer, which a lot of people did not like coming from two RPGs, but the platforming was stellar. All the characters controlled really well. You still had partners, but they were in the form of these pixels instead of partners. Though it was weird that Mario didn't have his hammer, and he could only hammer once he got the Cudge pixel in Chapter 6. So you go 6 chapters without a hammer, and then you get it. And Mario gets the ground pound, aka the spin jump, from Thudley, but you can only do it when you have the pixel Thudley out, and you get that in Chapter 3. So it's a little weird. And then you've got, you've got a bomb pixel as a partner. Essentially, you've got the grabby hand who kind of works like Cooper, but can also pick things up. You've got a pixel that lets you float over things, carry, a pixel that makes you really small, Dotty. You've got Barry, who's one of the optional pixels, who gives you like a spike shield, which is cool, and makes you do a little bit of a spin, kind of like Paper Mario 64. Um, you've got Fleep, who lets you kind of turn panels around in the background to stun enemies and also find secrets. Um, there's the other optional pixels, Dash L, that lets you run really fast. Um, I forget the music note one. Was it Piccolo? I think was the music note one. And I forget how it works, but I think it lets you play music to find super secret hidden stuff or something like that. And then Tiptron, who is a secret optional Tippy replacement once you lose Tippy at the end. So that's interesting. I don't remember. Plus, you've got Tippy, of course, who's your what do you call it? Kind of like how Twink was the one in Paper Mario, and then it ends up being Kirsty and Huey and Olivia. Tippy was the guide, the whatever, the star spirit kind of, except she was a pixel. I feel like I'm forgetting another pixel because I know it was throw, boomer. Oh, the triangle one that lets you turn sideways like paper mode. I cannot remember his name. It was something kind of goofy. But it was him, and then it was Studley, and then I think it was Carrie, and then Fleep, and then Dottie, and then Cudge. Was Cudge the last one, or was there another, or was it Cudge and then Dottie? It's been a while. I think Dottie might have been the last like regular pixel you get, and then there's the four optional ones. But I digress. Super Paper Mario is great. The soundtrack is awesome. The characters are all really good. The villains are really well written. Count Bleck is a wonderful tragic villain. Nastasia is a fantastic character. Ochunks and Mimi are really well written and funny, and they clearly really respect and love Count Bleck as both their boss and as a friend. You got Dementio, who's, a bitch, but he's well written. Um, Mr. L, I'm not even going to talk about, but is fantastic. Um, got a lot of weird characters, and it's a weird game. It strays really far from what Paper Mario 64 and T2ID were, because 64 took place in the Mushroom Kingdom, T2ID took place in Rogueport and its surrounding locales, and then Super Paper Mario takes place in Flipside, which is between a bunch of dimensions, and then all these kind of neighboring dimensions. And so you're nowhere near Mushroom Kingdom. It's whack. So it's a fantastic game. I love it. I've been meaning to go back and replay it. There are some things that do detract it from the others, of course. Not being an, I would argue that it being a platformer as opposed to an RPG should not be something that detracts from it as a game. It's a Paper Mario game, but that doesn't mean that it not being an RPG should make it less than any other Paper Mario game. Now, there are some dumb things that they did with the game, like some really pointless backtracking and side questing that you have to do, like in Chapter 6 specifically, that I'm sure was really funny to the devs when they were thinking of it, but in the game ends up just being clunky and annoying. Um, the fact that only Mario can flip to 3D is kind of a pain because Mario's mute. Peach, Bowser, and Luigi will talk when certain events happen and when they're in their, around different environments. But you pretty much play as Mario the whole time because you constantly have to check 3D space to see if there's secrets or ways to go. And so you miss out on all this fun dialogue from the other three. And the other three, they can't flip, but you've got Peach who can float with her parasol and can also kind of defend with it. Bowser, of course, does beefy damage and can breathe fire. And Luigi can jump higher. Mario can already jump really high, but Luigi can jump higher, and he has this super jump that's kind of like the spring jump from T2ID. So they've got their, pros and cons, but you miss out on content because you're playing as Mario the whole time, who doesn't freaking speak. And then the pixels, they, once you get them, I mean, they speak when you first meet them, but they never talk again afterwards. They never interact with Mario. So they speak even less than the partners from the first two games. So they're definitely it was a cool concept having it's partners that you can use for various gimmicks, like to grab things kind of like Cooper the bomb, of course, like a bomb, shrinking, floating, flipping panels. Making one of them the hammer was a weird decision. I don't know why it wasn't just it was probably limitations for the Wii remote because it was played uniquely as a sideways Wii remote game. Like you couldn't play with a nunchuck. It was only the sideways Wii remote. So there were limited buttons. So they probably made the hammer be a pixel ability because what other button would you press to activate it? The only other button that wasn't being used was like the B button on the bottom of the remote, but that'd be kind of weird to do. So it was kind of a bummer, but oh well. So it was a solid game, some weird design choices. There's that cool Earthbound inspired, actually kind of Mother 1 inspired Underchomp battle. You literally get to go to hell and heaven, and it's canonical that Peach is pristine and goes straight to heaven. And then Mario, Luigi, and Bowser all go to hell, but Bowser's somehow smart enough to find his way out of hell, but then gets stuck in limbo until Mario and Luigi save him. So it's good. It's a good game. There's a lot of fun to be had, and it's a great game. But of course, I'll put the other two above it. Now, going chronologically, we had a pretty big break in time between Super Paper Mario and Sticker Star. Since we're doing one per tier, of course, Sticker Star is going to go on the bottom. It is a game. It is definitely a game. I'm going to start with what I really liked about it. The soundtrack is awesome. I have the soundtrack on my phone, and I've had it on my phone since the game came out. It's lovely. It has a big, jazzy feel to it. The music's really good, really fun and swanky, and even the pieces that aren't explicitly jazzy are really good too, and really thematic for where they're located. Like the Chomp Ruins is a really good piece I like from it. The piece that plays when you're escaping from the giant Cheep in that same chapter is really good. The unique boss themes for each of the bosses are really good, especially Tower Power Pokey, Goober Blooper, and Petey Piranha. Even the final Bowser fights music is pretty good, but it's nothing. It's not as good as um, the penultimate Bowser theme from Paper Mario 64. The final one's good too, but I love that one that plays when you first go in and it's scripted to have him end up being invincible and you have to do the little Peach section. Oh, that one's so good. And then the final Bowser theme from T2ID when you fight him and Cammy gives me chills just thinking about it right now. So it definitely doesn't stack up to any of those, which is unfortunate, but oh well, it's not bad. The Mega Sparkle Goombas theme is fine. It's nothing to write home about. And the Ice Golem or whatever he's called, the, the Snowman one, that music's pretty boring, honestly. It's really short. If they'd done more with it, maybe it would have been pretty cool, but it was a really short loop and there just wasn't too much to it. The Bowser Snow statue or whatever, I guess he was called. Um, Bowser Jr.'s theme that they gave him in that game was really good, and it went on to appear in Color Splash again, a little bit remixed. Same with Kamek's theme that they gave him. The theme they gave Kamek and Sticker Star was so good and so iconic that they still use it in Origami King. It's so good. They reworked it a little bit. Same with Bowser Jr.'s for both of them. They gave Bowser Jr. a new theme in Origami King, but kind of implemented a little bit of his from Sticker Star. Bowser Jr. and Kamek are both really well written in Sticker Star. They're really fun characters. Um, the mechanics for fighting them are interesting, but they get stale after first time or two, which is unfortunate. Um, the like I said, the music's good. Um, Mario himself controls well. The action commands aren't too janky to do. I'm kind of running out of good things to say about it. That's kind of it. On to the stuff that isn't so good. The game is very short. It'd be one thing if it was a short game and had a lot of good to it, but it's a very short game and not that good. Um, Mario feels very bland. I mean, yes, he's a mute protagonist, but even, in Origami King, Mario seems very active. He's got a lot of personality. He's really funny. He interacts in ways that even though he's mute, you can kind of get how he feels. Um, Same with T2ID, honestly, and even with Color Splash. But in Sticker Star, he just feels incredibly hollow. Bowser does not speak a single word in Sticker Star. Not a word. I went back and double checked. He does not say a single word. Not even in the beginning when he first shows up and touches the sticker comet, and not at the end when you fight him, nor at the very end after you've beaten him. He does not say a singular word the entire game. So no funny Bowser dialogue. That's immediately points lost. Um, the story, even if we hadn't had the incredible story of Super Paper Mario and then came on to have this, the story would still be incredibly lackluster. Yeah, the first game is Bowser steals Peach, find the seven MacGuffins to, defeat Bowser and get the big MacGuffin back, the Star Rod. And then T2ID was these other people stole Peach, get these seven MacGuffins, and get her back also. And oh, Bowser's also there. So it's like, okay, that's a little different. And then Super Paper Mario is this guy loses the love of his life and he determines that any world that she does not exist in is not a world worth existing in or having. So he vows to destroy every world and just remake them in his image because any world that doesn't have his love shouldn't even be around to begin with. And the love of his life lost her memory and became Tippy, the pixel, and they don't figure that out to the very end. And then the two of them die together to save all the worlds when Count Blake has a change of heart. It's such a good story. I didn't do justice talking about it there, but it is a fantastic story. Um, that's cute. I'll see him the Ralligan pet. Fantastic, fantastic story. But then to go from that to Bowser's still Peach again, get these five MacGuffins to, or I guess six technically, because Bowser has one. Gets these six MacGuffins, including the one you get for beating the final boss to stop him and get her back. Also, your guide you have with you is Kirsty is so poorly written. It feels like she was supposed to be written very well, kind of like Huey ends up being in Color Splash, which we'll get to. But it feels like they cut out a lot of that. She starts off angry at Mario, convinced that he's the one that screwed up the sticker star or the comet or whatever, and aggressively says she's going to join him and make sure he cleans up his mess, even though it's like, no, obviously Bowser did this. It's Mario. And so she stays kind of cross with him and persnickety for a bit, and then eventually just kind of stops, and then all of a sudden she's Mario's buddy without there having been any development. No, like, oh, he saves her from certain death, and she, turns over a new leaf. She starts liking him. No, she just randomly starts being nice to him and acts as if Mario did something amazing for her, but didn't. And it makes the whole sacrifice portion at the very end of the game, which is like, ah, I'll use myself as a sticker so you have power to beat Bowser. Don't forget about me, bye. And it has this sad music and stuff, but you don't feel anything for her because her character wasn't developed at all, and she was kind of a bitch. And there was no proper character development or arc or anything. So you're like, whatever. And then you find out afterwards that Mario uses his sticker comet wish to just wish Kirsty back to life. So she's totally fine post credits. Never see her again. She's not in Color Splash or Origami King. But it's like, whatever. She's just here, I guess. It's like, it's terrible. And of course, I don't even need to go about the battle system. You don't have abilities, you have limited stickers that you have to use, and then those thing stickers. And if you don't use the proper thing sticker on the boss that it wants you to use, you end up using a bunch of stickers, and then Kirsty chastises you for it afterwards. Like, isn't there a way you could have done this quicker and without using as many stickers? Oh well. And so it's like if you don't do it that way, you just waste a bunch. And it's just obnoxious. It's like, just give us badges, give us abilities. Don't give us things we can run out of. And you don't get experience. There's no leveling up. So there's literally no point to battling. And so having zero reason to battle, it's like, okay, well, why would I battle then? I'm just going to skip them all. So that's Sticker Star. It's unfortunate, but it's the one we all knew was going to the bottom. Color Splash, second from the bottom. I like Color Splash a lot. I would put this higher up on the list if I was doing more than one per tier, but that was the breaks. Color Splash is a better game than Sticker Star. It is a fine game. It's just not a good Paper Mario game. It's a fine game for what it is. The mechanic of having limited resources for battling is still terrible, and that absolutely would need to be changed. But if it were an unrelated game from a different franchise or just its own game in general, but retaining the same level of humor and soundtrack and writing that Color Splash has, it'd be a solid game. Totally solid game. But you've got cards instead of stickers, and you've got paint that you have to use to paint said cards. So not only do you have limited cards, you have limited paint also. But the draw for doing random battles is that if you get enough hammer shards from doing battles, you can upgrade how much paint you can store. So it's like, okay, there's kind of a reason, but you get so much paint from just beating the crap out of trees and bushes and stuff. It's like, whatever. Um, the soundtrack is really good. It's more grandiose than Sticker Star. It's not jazzy. It's more kind of like big band, sort of. Um, I forgot to mention in Sticker Star, there's lovely jazzy renditions of the Mario 3 athletic theme. Um, and There's another one I'm thinking of. I'm forgetting it at the moment. Weird. Okay. Well, if I think of it, I'll come back to it. Star also gets points for bringing Paper Birdo to the scene, who then has become a mainstay since then. And she always has a little musical number of some sort. And I love her. And I want to give her kisses and take her out to dinner. She's fantastic. She comes back in Color Splash. She gets a slightly longer musical number, and the music for it is lovely. It's very good, um, which is fine. You still have essentially levels instead of an open world. So you still have levels like Sticker Star, but it's a bigger world. There's more levels. There's more to do. There's more objectives. Um, some objectives require you to do something elsewhere and then come back to a level you've already done, which is kind of cool, kind of like Wario Land 3. Um, sorry, I'm getting text. Um, but it still falls flat in certain ways. I will say, Ruddy Road, the music for the first level of Color Splash is phenomenal. The main theme for Color Splash is phenomenal. The old ragtimey piano version of the main theme is lovely. Ruddy Road in particular, I listen to all the time. It's such a fun, upbeat, happy feeling piece. And it's so good for a first level. It's so good. Fantastic. I mean, the first level of Sticker Star has good music too, and it definitely makes you feel good. But Ruddy Road hits so much better. It's so good. It's so good. I highly recommend you listen to it if you haven't already. The whole soundtrack's phenomenal. We still have unique boss themes for each boss, which is awesome. And the boss themes are really good, especially World 2 and World, well, I say World, but you know what I mean, like Chapter 2 and Chapter whatever the circus one is. Those two in particular are my favorites. It's for Iggy and Lemmy, respectively. But yeah, the Koopa Kids make their debut as paper characters, and they're the bosses for each chapter, which is a little like, okay, I mean, we've been getting them in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, so we've had them in new Super, whatever, you know. Oh, pardon me. But it's cool to see them in paper form. They don't talk a ton, but they talk some, so you get some dialogue from them, which is nice. Bowser's the big bad again, except this time he's corrupted, kind of like, a la DDD. But he talks a little bit more, so he's got some dialogue that's not that funny because it's not Bowser talking. It's the black paint that's corrupted him that's talking. So it's kind of eh. You've got the really funny Shy Guys with Straws, which is traumatizing but pretty clever. Um, Luigi makes an appearance. He was in Sticker Star technically as like findable locations, but he didn't talk or do anything. He shows up a little bit in Color Splash, which is neat. I don't really have much else to say about Color Splash. It's a fun game, but it's held back by the pointless battles, the limited resources for battling. Um, the bosses you actually have to use the correct things for. If you don't, you cannot beat the fights. So it's not like you can brute force your way through like you could with Sticker Star. You have to use the proper thing, and not the replica of it, the actual thing, or else you cannot beat the fight. And that's dumb, because then if you don't have it, you have to run around the world to go find where it is, bring it back, and do the fight. And it's dumb. It's weird. It's weird that they went with that. Because I tried as I might, I could not complete any of the fights without specifically using the thing it required. Because usually when it and at the point that it requires it, because if you use it too soon, you waste it. Um, and if you use it at the time you're supposed to, well, if you don't use it at the time you're supposed to, or don't have it, they end up doing essentially a one-hit kill, and that you can't dodge or block enough damage from. So that's dumb. But it's a solid game other than that. It's held back by some really dumb design choices. But it's got great writing. It's written very well. It's very funny. Huey is an actually good guide character, and when he goes to sacrifice himself, it's actually like, ah, oh, crap, no. Like he's too good. But if you 100% the game, spoiler warning, you do find out that Huey lives. So that's good. So good for him. He's funny. He's an asshole, but he's so funny. Like he can go back and forth between kind of being a dick to Mario in a funny way, like two best buds do, to being also like, hey, I genuinely care about you, sort of thing. So he's really good. He's leagues better than Kirsty, and he's definitely one of the best like Mario companions out there. Um, like I'd put him up there with Stuffwell and Starlo. A lot of people hate Starlo. I like her a lot, but that's a different topic. Finally, we've got Origami King, which gets the last spot we've got open. It is the best of the new three Paper Mario games by a long shot. The battles are still pointless, essentially. You get confetti and you get coins from them, which is good. I mean, because a lot of the stuff costs a lot of coins, but you get so many coins from other things, from scripted battles you have to do, from overworld blocks and items and other things. It's, I mean, you're going to get a ton of coins regardless. So it's kind of pointless. And confetti you can get from literally anything. You just beat the crap out of bushes and trees and plants and other objects. The story's good. It's not another, Bowser kidnapped the Peach, get the MacGuffins. This time it's King Ollie kidnaps Peach within her castle. So Peach and her castle. And you have to get these MacGuffins, essentially. Well, they're not MacGuffins. You have to go sever the giant streamers that are wrapping up Peach's castle with the help of your new companion, Olivia, who's precious. She's adorable. She's well written. I love her even more than Huey. And of course, she's the one of the three that doesn't essentially come back, as far as we're aware, unless the 100% completion screen that shows the new mini Olivia and Ollie means that she can come back to life. Because I don't know. But she's well written. The other characters are well written. Bowser has fantastic dialogue again. He's wonderful. Mario's very expressive, even though he's mute. Luigi has a ton of appearances and is pretty important. Not Super Paper Mario levels, but he is important and he shows up a lot. Um, the soundtrack for Origami King is phenomenal. It blows the other two games out of the water. Like, it's so good. The other characters that you get to meet, like Bobby, Professor Toad, who am I forgetting? Kamek, of course. Um, I thought there was another I thought there was another companion after Professor Toad, but I guess not, because chapter 2 is Bobby. Hold on one second. Let me pause for just a moment. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I just brought it back in a second ago when I saw the overpass. Yeah, it was totally normal, and then all of a sudden, now crazy, which is it's good that Bella stopped going to go in and out. Because she did that thing again where I let her out. She was out for quite a while. She wanted to bark at Polaris for a bit, did her business, came back in, and then 3 seconds later, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go back outside, and hangs out there for like another 15 minutes. I'm like, girl, it's like 100 degrees out there. You're gonna fry. And then now she's asleep. Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. Yep, I've got it plugged right now. I do too. Okay. Well, I was gonna pause the recording, but literally as I was being called, Streamlabs had frozen and I couldn't access any of the buttons. So I guess we're just gonna leave that in unless I decide to cut it out. Um, Not that it's really one big deal or anything. Where was we? Yeah, Origami King. Great story, great characters, some actually really good emotional moments, fantastic soundtrack. Birdo gets to talk and it's phenomenal. Olivia's a great character. Bobby's a great character. Professor Toad's pretty funny, even for the limited time you know him. He doesn't compete with Bobby, of course. Kamek's fantastic. Bowser Jr.'s fantastic. Bowser's fantastic. Ollie's not the best villain, but he's got a genuine reason for being a villain, and when you learn about it, he he's a very good villain when you learn about like, why. And that's pretty neat. The Legion of Stationary is so creative. They're such cool bosses, and their themes are all such bangers. I I want to rate. I need to rate them. Their on their themes because I think I have. Yeah, I'm gonna use this one here in a second, actually. Um, but that's pretty much my tier list for the main games. It kind of makes sense. 64 at number one, TTYD, Super Paper Mario, Origami King, Color Splash, Sticker Star. Duh. Um, before I was thinking about if I wanted to do this or not. Oh god, and the Elementals theme is so good. It's so good. I was thinking I would do a tier list on the characters from, I guess, these main characters from Origami King, um, or important ones, I suppose. I might, but I want to start with something I'm going to do with the boss themes because the boss themes are incredible. I'm just going to use one of the developmentals here. The developmental theme is so good. It hits so hard. I definitely put it up in S. Um, Rubber Band is also an S. That music is so good. Hole Punches is also super good. Stapler I would put up at the top too. Colored Pencils is really good. The part with the guitar in particular is incredible. And then it kind of just sounds like boom whackers being played for a little bit. And I get it's supposed to kind of sound like colored pencils being whacked around, but I wish they did more with the guitar. Otherwise, it would go in S. Tape is really good. I like it a lot, but the others outshine it. Scissors, I like a ton. I would probably put at the top A tier. Um, yeah, Stapler. Anyone else here got me? The mid boss theme, quote unquote mid boss theme that plays for like Handaconda and Boss Sumo Bro. I would say that even goes above Scissors. Yeah, it's good. It's real good. Um, is that all the boss themes? There's like the event battle theme also that's really good. God, it's real windy. it heckin' windy, windy. But yeah, I'd probably do that for the main bosses. Ollie's theme is pretty good. It has a couple different versions, but I'm not gonna put that on there. Um, do I feel like doing actually a character tier list for Origami King? I don't know. I can't tell if I lost power or not. My computer's still charging, but the TV in the background turned off. I do need to make sure that my phone's plugged in case the power goes out, because that'd be awkward. Charge the bad boy. Hi, Bella. You want to come back up? Here, come on up right next to me. Um, I'll think about the Origami King character one or not. Oh, this is all main characters, I guess, from the games, including the bosses from. I cannot remember his name, and that's killing me. Um, yeah, those guys go on the bottom. Hi, Bella. Yeah, we could do an everyone tier list, I guess. Hi, yes, I see you. I see you. Come on up. She's really short. She's got stubby legs, so whenever she wants to jump up on something, she takes so many steps back first. It's like a football player about to do a kickoff. It's hilarious. Um, let's do this. I'll do this and then consider what else we want to do. S is going to be like my favorite characters. A is going to be like really good characters. B is going to be kind of middle of the road. C is kind of and D is going to be ones I just do not care about. Bobry, I'll put up an A. I like him a lot. He's really cool. He's an old sea dog. He's a salty sailor. And he's got a really good backstory. Um, he's good. I just wish the partners in T2ID spoke and interacted more, and then he would. Hmm, the power is tripping a little bit, so hopefully it stays plugged in. Hopefully it stays working. Well, power's out at my house. Good thing I'm house sitting in a different one. This looks like Atomic Boo from T2ID. He's a cool boss. Well, mini boss. What is it, Bella? If you want to get up, you can get right here. I hope you're not trying to sit where I'm sitting, because I am in this seat already. Come on. Come on up. Atomic Boo, I mean, it's whatever. It's a mini boss. I don't hate him, but I mean, he doesn't have any personality. It's 200 boos mixed together to make a mini boss that's optional to get lucky start. The pixel once again, the pixels are cool, but they don't have really much personality besides the first time you meet him. So I don't hate him. I think Barry's cool when you first meet him. It's like, oh, okay, he seems kind of cool. Um, okay, you just jumped on my Switch controller, so that's kind of great. Don't eat the controller, dude. I made a spot for you right. Bella, what are you up? Okay, I gotta focus. Beldum is a great character, but she is okay. I think my internet connection just went out. Well, I'm still recording and I'm on this web page, so I guess I'll just keep going for right now. Bella, honey, I really hope you're not trying to ask me to go outside. I'm not going to send you outside right now when we've got a typhoon going on, okay? You can get on the couch right here and hang out, but I'm not putting you outside. No. What, honey bun? I gotta record this. I gotta make content for the starving masses. Come on up. Okay, I'm gonna get back to this. Beldum is a jerk. She's awful, but she's a great character. And at the end of TTYD, she ends up being a good guy, apparently. Like, she's pretty good. So there's some character development. I mean, it's told in the process of, oh yeah, apparently she's good now. So that's unfortunate. There's not actually like you don't see it happen, but that's cool. Blue Goomba from 64. I don't really care about. Bobby's S tier. We love Bobby. We stand Bobby in this house. We stand Bobby. He's fantastic. Everything about him. Bombette, I mean, like I said, the partners don't speak much, but when you meet her, she's fun. She's a little firebrand, and you can get a little bit extra dialogue out of her if you talk to those bombs that are simping over her. Um, not not Bone Chill. Is it Bone Chill? Is that his name, Bone Chill from Super? He's cool, but there's like no build up to him is the thing. He just kind of shows up. He's a cool character. I really like him. He's got a really, really neat design. And when you do talk to him, he's pretty badass, but there's like no build up to him, which is kind of weird. So I'll put him at A. If you would kind of know, like, oh, there's some big bad coming up, like, oh, a little bit more foreshadowing, I'd probably be like, bah. But he just kind of shows up and you're like, oh, here he is. But you also have to use Luigi to fight him, which is awesome. Boomer, I mean, he doesn't like talk at all, is the thing. Barry talks a little bit more. I like Boomer's design. Bowser Jr. I'm combining him from Sticker Star, Color Splash, and Origami King, especially Origami King. He's well written in Origami King. Bowser also S. We're not going to talk about Sticker Star or Color Splash Bowser. We're talking about 64, TTYD, Super Paper Mario, and Origami King. I don't care about this guy at all. I really don't. He's got a funny pun name, and he is, has a couple funny one-liners, but I don't care. Carrie, I like her. I think most of the pixels are going to go in mid-tier, to be completely honest. I'm not going to tier within the individual list, by the way. I'm not about that. I like colored pencils a lot. They're funny. They're a starving artist. Cortez, I like Cortez a lot. He's cool. And he ends up being a real bro. Count Black, duh, goes up top. Crystal King, I'm biased to a lot of the Paper Mario 64 bosses, but I like Crystal King a lot. He works for Bowser, but he also wants to just beat the shit out of Mario. Cudge, he's a pixel. Dark Bones is cool and all, but it's like, why? It's not like he talks or anything. Dash Shell's pretty cool. Dementia's great. Dementia's a great character. Dupless, my beloved. There's Dottie. I don't have any issues with the Star Spirits. They're well written for who they are. They've got unique personalities and everything, but it's nothing crazy to write home about, so let's put him in the middle. I like Flavio. Uh, mm, Flavio's funny. Flavio goes up top. I love him. There's Fleep. Flint Cragley gets an A. He's funny. He's got his own TV series. He's a lot like Bear Grylls. I like him. Madame Flurry, I like a lot. Um, she's got a lot of personality, and she talks a good amount, honestly. And since you get her earlier in the game, there's more potential for her to interact with things and talk, whereas you don't get him till chapter 5. Fractale, I like a ton. He's not just a boss, he's actually a good guy until dementia corrupts him. And then you have to actually kill him, which sucks because he's a good guy. Ah, Francis. Francis grosses me out because he's such a horrible, terrible, like, Francis. But he's very well written and he's very funny. I like General Guy a lot as a boss. He's got that whole like I'm the general, me and my men, blah blah blah, military sort of vibe. But he doesn't do a whole lot besides that. So I'm gonna put him kind of mid tier. General White, I mean, just whatever. I guess I don't really care. You have to go on that giant scavenger hunt to find him. And once you do talk to him, he's a cool guy. But it's like whatever. I like Gloomtail. I like him a lot. And he goes up top. Goomba King, or sorry, King Goomba. I like him a lot. He's ditzy and funny. Goombario's fine. Goombella, I would say, is more fun. Gooper Blooper gets points for having a super cool boss theme, and he just vibes the whole time. Like, he's having a good time. He's in it for fun. I'll give him B. This guy I'm just kind of partial about. I'm like, whatever, he's fine. Hole Punch goes up top. He is grooving and having a good time. Hooktail is a cutie. I'm going to put her next to her brother. I love her. Huey, very well written. He's great. Huff and Puff, super good. Iggy is well written. I'll put him there. Junior Troopa has a lot of character development and growth. I like him a lot. Kamek obviously up top. Cammy gets like first tier. I'm doing a couple adjustments just cause. And we'll put these two there. Okay, I said I wasn't gonna tier within the list, but I can't help it. Kirsty's terrible. I'm sorry. Kirsty is so poorly written. King Crocus has better writing than Kirsty, and you don't even interact with Crocus all that much. But I'll give a solid B. Ollie's not bad. He could have been written better, but I'd say he's still pretty good. The, this guy, he's like not important at all. I'd put him down there. He's like whatever. The other Star Spirits are going to go in B also. The Cooper Bros are great. Um, Cooper's very milk toast. He doesn't really have a lot of personality. He's just kind of like, hey, can you get my shell back from the fuzzies? Cool, thanks. He has aspirations to be an adventurer like Colorado, and ends up doing that. So that's pretty cool. But he doesn't really have a lot of personality. Coops, on the other hand, has a bit more personality. He wants to go out and avenge his father, but he's a scaredy cat, so he's afraid to. He has a girlfriend, so good on him. And he ends up being a pretty cool dude. Belle goes up top. We love her. Spike, I like Spike a lot. I think Spike goes up top. He's got some issues with his own, like, he's not super comfortable in his own skin. He wants to be named Spike, but his real name's Lackluster. He's also gone by something else, I think. He's got a girlfriend, and he works for Huff and Puff at first, but he just wants, he's like, I want to make the world a better place. So that's cool. Um, Icky's just there having fun. Larry, he's got a train, which is cool, but he doesn't really do much. Lava Piranha, I want to put up top because I love him and he's a lot of fun. Limmy's just vibing, having a good time. I'm gonna put him here also. Lord Crump S, absolutely. Ludwig's hot and he's got probably the most personality out of any of the Koopa kids except for Wendy. Luigi, obviously, top tier. Uh, Luby? Loveby? I forget her name. She's actually pretty good. I'd put her in A. Macho Grubba, aka Grubba. Um, he's pretty good. I'd put him in A. The rest of the Star Spheres there. Marilyn S. I love her. She never speaks an actual discernible word, but she's fun and she's got some personality. Mario, if we're talking like Origami King, goes up here because he's got a lot of personality. But the other games, he'd be a little bit lower. I don't care about this guy at all. Sorry. Merlovely or Merlee or whatever this one's name is from Super Paper Mario is really funny, actually. She's got a lot of personality and I love her. Merlin's pretty good too in Super. I don't remember her at all, so I'm going to put her at B. Mimi's phenomenal. Yoshi Kid's got a lot of spunk. Mistar's cute, but whatever. Fuck this guy. He doesn't even speak, I don't think, ever. He might say like one word. Morton's funny. I'll give him A tier. Mr. L's phenomenal. He goes up there. Miss Mouse, I love her. Muscular, nah. Nastasia is really well written. Oh, Chunks should get double S tier. Olivia as well. Parakarry, I love. I love our boy. He's such a sweetheart. Pennington's fun. I like him. I'll give Petey C because I do like Petey, but he doesn't do much. Another Pixel. That's Piccolo, I guess. Peach, if we're is I don't know. Over the span of the Paper Mario games, Peach really gets a lot of personality, and I like her a lot. Frankly's funny. Professor Toad's not bad. I like him. This lady's cool. It's like whatever. Rockhawk is pretty cool. The skeleton doesn't really matter. Red Goomba I'll just put right next to his brother. These guys are can be funny, I guess, but not really. I mean, they've got some personality, but it's just hardly. Roy is great. I love Roy. He can go up in A. Rubber Band's got a ton of personality. Scissors, of course. The Shadow Queen. Grotus. Scholar can go right there. This guy can also go in that same tier. Squirp! Squirks? I forget his name. I like him a lot. He's cute. He's fun. Stapler. Even though Stapler's essentially just a dog, it shows a lot of personality. I like that. I like Sushi. She's a mom. We love her. Tape is phenomenal. He should get top tier of everything. He's so good. Throw doesn't really matter. Thudley's cool. Thudley talks about girth. He gets an honorary A tier. He is so good. And I'm halfway tempted to get Throw in A tier also because he's the first one you meet and he talks a little bit more than the others. So I'll give him that. But Throw's on another level. Tippy is S. Tiptron talks some, so I'll give her a Tower Power Pokey, whatever. Tub of Lava is a solid A, probably, yeah. Toot and Coop is pretty good, I like him. Vivian's S. Watt's probably an A. Windy I'd put an A also. Is this just a random X-Naut? The X-Nauts are funny, though. They're pretty funny. I'll put them in A. I think that's not a bad tier list. There's probably some in S that could have moved a little further down, and some here that could have moved a bit further down. That's probably fine. Not bad, not bad. So we did a game list. We did the main-ish characters from the games. I'm not going to do this Origami King one. I don't feel like it. I mean, I could do this one, I guess, but a lot of these are not that great. Like who's gonna rate or rank the male paratrooper for the post office? Who's gonna tear up Colorado's wife? Vanity, Lackey. I mean, Lackey gets S tier, obviously. Some of these sprites they picked are very interesting choices. Like they didn't just pick stationary sprites for a lot of them. Red Goomba is mid. I guess I think that's its walking cycle Or maybe part of his talking cycle. No, it's after you beat the crap out of him. That's Blue Goomba talking. That's anti-guy in the process of dying. Bo laughing, Bombette smiling. The Ninja Koopas are all in different orders. That's a good. Oh yeah, Luigi. That's just Cammy's basic sprites. That's cool. Buzzer doesn't have her little feathers on top, which is kind of weird. Feist T. Like, who cares about some of these? Oh, Big Yoshi gets top. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna call it, I think, here for this video rather than making it go on too long because, well, Streamlabs is frozen, so I don't know. Like I said, I think I could change a few of these tier rows around a little bit, but I'm fairly happy with where it's at. I don't know. I would probably end up moving these B tier pixels down to C because like they don't really do anything. I would leave Throw, sorry, and Thudley up here because, and Tiptron because they actually talk a little bit more. Throw because he's the first one you get. Thudley because he talks about girth, and Tiptron because she essentially replaced Tippy. But these guys would probably all go down here, honestly. And I have nothing against the Star Spirits. They've got actually some personality, so they'd probably stay in B. Same with these Kooplings that are down here. And then I'd probably end up moving because like this is for the ones that just I'm not a fan of. Like that guy's kind of obnoxious from what I remember, but maybe I just need to play his chapter again. These two are just annoying. Kirsty, of course, he doesn't matter. Blah blah blah. That's it. That's that's gonna be it for this. Is this interesting? Probably not. I just wanted to talk about Paper Mario. So thank you, and we will see what happens next time.